Hey y'all, thanks for tuning into my channel, TammyToosVintage. I'm Tamara, and I appreciate you joining me today because do I have a cool haul video for you. This is from an estate sale that had fill-a-bags, and so I got some different things that I usually don't get. Stay tuned after the intro to find out what ended up in my bags. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to TammyToosVintage, where I share my love of thrifting, junking, collecting, and treasure hunting, along with some adventures in reselling too. You might even get a glimpse of my crazy life on the side. Hey y'all! So today I am going to share with you some items that I picked up at an estate sale, but it was a little bit different than what I normally do. This estate sale, when I went, had already been going on for several days. In fact, I had planned to go the first weekend, and they were taking appointments, and I had made an appointment to go the first weekend because it was an item I really wanted. But I woke up that morning and I was not feeling real well, and it was actually a pretty good drive to where the estate sale was, and I didn't feel like driving, so I canceled. I texted the person and let them know I wasn't going to be able to make it, and so I put it off, and I thought, oh well, I missed my opportunity. And then I was looking through the estate sale app that I use to find estate sales, and the next weekend they were open again. So I was feeling better, and I decided to go ahead and make the drive out. And before I went, I did text him and said, hey, do you mind letting me know, is this item still available? Because I do live quite a ways away, and I don't want to make the drive if it's not there. And they said yes. And even better is because it was the second weekend, everything was 50% off, so I was able to get the item I was really after for half price. And then when I got there, they said, oh, by the way, there's some Walmart bags, grocery bags, you know, the plastic ones here. We're doing a special where you can fill a bag for $20. And then also we're doing a special for all the costume jewelry. You can fill a quart-sized Ziploc bag for $15. And I thought, well, that's quite a deal. So the item that I went after, actually I'm going to save that for the last, I think. But bags, that's what this video is about. So first of all, we'll talk about the jewelry. Now, I do like jewelry. I don't know a lot about it. I'm learning. I did join a jewelry group. There is a Texas Gals Treasures. She's another YouTuber that has a great channel if you want to learn about jewelry. That's pretty much what she does. And so I've been watching her hauls, and I've joined a jewelry group on Facebook that's helped me learn some things. And I thought, well, the best way to learn is to pick some items up and research them. And so I try not to spend a lot on jewelry unless I know for sure what I've got. And since I'm really new, sometimes I don't know. And the $15 bag was just a deal I could not pass up. Now, we're not going to talk about everything I got in that bag because I'm going to show you this right here. This is all, I'm trying to pick it all up here. Okay, these are all things that we're not going to talk about. Okay, these are all the items that I got in addition to what I'm going to show you. So there was quite a bit that I could fit in that $15 bag. So just know that everything else that I got was $15. All right, now just like other things, you know, the things that I know about are glass, china, collectibles, those kinds of things. That's really kind of my niche as far as vintage goes, but I am branching out and learning about other things. But just like vintage collectibles in those areas, vintage jewelry is often marked as well, and you'll find some really popular maker names come up often. And this necklace right here is by a maker called Trifari, and that's spelled Trifari, and it is marked Trifari on the back of the necklace. No, where did I see it? Oh, sorry, not on the necklace, but on the hook. Okay, and I don't expect that you may not be able to see that, but there is a mark there. It does have Trifari. It also has a little hang logo there on the necklace, if you can see that little T hanging down there. And this is a popular Trifari style. So I showed you that to show there are different places you can look on the jewelry to look for that mark. You can look on the clasp, you can look on the back of the necklace itself. It might be a hanging logo like this one is, but be sure you check jewelry over very well for those maker's marks. Now, just because a piece is unmarked does not mean it's not valuable. It just makes your job a little bit easier as far as researching and how that goes. So the Trifari piece was a lot of fun. Now I'll show you a couple other marked pieces that were easy. These two pieces are Sarah Coventry. Let me see if I can show you those. See, those are Sarah Coventry, and they're just some fun little pins, and they are marked here. Now, Sarah Coventry was really popular back in the 60s and 70s. A lot of people wore Sarah Coventry jewelry, and so those are a lot of fun. These two pieces, you can kind of tell by the style that they may be from the same maker, and if you thought, hey, those look very similar, you would guess right. They are both from a maker called Jerry's, and those are fun little leaf pieces. And let's see what else. There's another one. This is by Napier. Leaf and nature motifs were very popular in vintage jewelry. So these are not super old. This is an unmarked piece that kind of has a stylized leaf look. And then this one is, you know, obviously a more natural looking piece, more realistic. I showed you those circles by Sarah Coventry, and the person who this estate sale was at, they obviously liked circle brooches because there were quite a few in their collection. In fact, I got those two Sarah Coventrys, and then I also got all of these. I hope you can see those there. But those pieces that I got, these are not marked. The one with the little pearls is marked Monet, and that may be a little bit later piece. Monet actually was pretty popular even in the 80s, so I'm not sure how old that one is, but those are kind of cool. And then one of the kinds of jewelry that's always fun is Christmas jewelry. This one is not marked, but you see a lot of vintage jewelry with holiday themes, and Christmas trees are always fun. Angels, you'll see a lot of those. Those are fun as well. And then this one I thought was really pretty. This one I haven't looked up as far as a decade, but the maker is Vandel, and it's a teeny tiny, very hard to read label right there. But the look itself kind of has a 50s look to me, so I'm not sure what the age is on that. So, speaking of age, there's a couple that are probably older than any of the others I've shown you so far. And one is this piece right here. This is a dress clip. And if you look on the back, you can see that clip on the back. And these most often would have come in a pair. And you can see it's got some teeth there to hold the fabric as it was clipped on. And these would actually help hold the garments in place. So that's a decorative piece and really cool. I like that. Now this last one I was not sure about when I picked it up. There's a couple of things about it that made me think it was old. It does look like a brass piece to me, and the stone did look like it was glass, which when I got home and was able to look at it with my jeweler's loupe, I do believe it is glass because I can see some small perfect circles inside that would indicate it's got some small bubbles. A natural stone, the inclusions would not look like bubbles. They would be less uniform. So looking with a loupe can be helpful. Here's my little jeweler's loupe, and I actually picked this up at an estate sale as well. So be on the lookout when you're at sales on things like this that can help you in your research and identification of items as well. But anyway, this item, the fact that it was glass, it's brass, it had some really nice Art Deco, or actually not Deco, but Nouveau. I would say this is Nouveau, with the nature motifs and the curvy lines, which indicates maybe early 19th century, early 20th century. But if you can see right here, the way the clasp is, that's called a C clasp. And those clasps are generally earlier. Now some reproductions will have that kind of clasp on it, but if it has a clasp that is like this, you'll know that it is later. Again, sometimes people replace the clasp on the jewelry, so look for indications that it might have been repaired or replaced. But this does look like an original clasp. It does look older, and I think that this would probably be a sash pin that was worn at the waist, and it is probably from around 1910 to 1920s, from the Art Nouveau period, because it's got that style. So that's kind of fun. And I do, when we look at the back, I actually do have the pin that goes there. When I was looking at it, it had just this little, almost like a very tiny straight pin that was holding it. And when I tried to turn it, because it was kind of pokey, and I was afraid I was going to poke myself with it, and it was very sharp, and when I tried to turn it, it broke. So I've got to have that repaired and put back on, but I have all the pieces to be able to do that. So that is pretty much the jewelry that I was going to show you. Oh, there's one more piece, because I wanted to show you this and ask you for your help. This is a bangle. I don't know if you can see much detail there, but it's black, and it does seem to have some variation in it. I don't feel like it's plastic per se. It may be, I don't know if it's some type of bakelite or the early man-made materials, but it does have some, I don't know whether to call it grain, but it does have some grain to it. So this is a piece I'm just really not sure about. So if anybody has any ideas of what this piece may be made of, I'd appreciate you sharing it in the comments. All right, let's move all that out of the way. Oh, and these, aren't these fun? These are actually made of milk glass. They are glass beads that are white, and you can see there's some teeny tiny sea beads, a little bit larger beads, and then these right here that are even larger still, and they're strung in a pattern. There's two separate strands. One's a little bit shorter than the other. So those are a lot of fun. And they are older, probably 50s or so. They do have that older style screw clasp on them. But I thought those were really, really interesting. And if you've watched any of my other videos where I've mentioned milk glass, you know that it has kind of a special place in my heart because of the collection I inherited from my grandmother. So, alright, so that is all the jewelry that I got in that $15 lot. Now I'm going to show you everything I got for $20. All of these items that I'm going to show you now, I was able to fit in a Walmart bag. And some of these I typically would not have picked up, but because they fit in the bag and didn't take up much room, or you know, I had enough room to spare to throw them in there, they went in the bag, and I got them for $20. So let's start with, there were some craft items, some sewing items and that thing, and I threw those in the bag. These are 4 different wooden spools that I picked up, and it's not thread, it's like the small crochet fibers that probably would have been used for maybe crocheting doilies or lace or that kind of thing. So I got these, and mainly I got them for the wooden spools, but those went in the bag. I also got this bag of lace, and there's several different styles of vintage lace that were in the bag, that were there, that I just threw in the bag. They didn't take up much room, so that's a lot of fun. And this one is as well. Now this one is probably newer because of the way that it's packaged, but it's a white lace that is in this blue plastic protective covering. Got those. The other craft items that I got is this latch hook. This was for making latch hook rugs, and it still has the original price tag of $1.19 from Wins, W-I-N-N''S. Now, I'm not familiar with a store named Wins, so I don't know if it was local to the area where I picked this up or where the people lived at the time. I don't know. Another tool, crafting tool, that was fun, and I actually just noticed these are both made by the Boye, B-O-Y-E, needle company from Chicago. This is a punch needle for rug punch needle for making yarn or rag rugs, and it's still on the card, and it has some instructions on the back, and the handle on this one is green. You can tell, see right there, it's like a green wood, which is kind of fun. But I grabbed this because I thought that was pretty cool. This one looks like a later model just because of the way it's packaged, and it has a plastic handle. And so those are some craft items that I grabbed. Let's see. Now the purse, this is probably newer, and one of the ways I look to date purses is what kind of clasp it has on it. It is not marked that I can find. It doesn't have any tags or anything inside. But this clasp is a magnetic clasp. You can see that. Snaps in there. And these clasps, I don't know for sure when they started coming into use. I know that the earliest I remember seeing them is maybe late 80s, so if they were in use before that, they weren't very common. So I'm saying this purse, to me, probably has a 90s vibe to it. I can't say that for sure, but it does have that metal mesh that is reminiscent of Whiting and Davis. So anytime I see this metal mesh, I do grab it and check it out and check to see if it is a Whiting and Davis. Unfortunately, this one is not, but it is still kind of a neat vintage style purse, and it does have a really cool metal strap on it. So that's fun. I like that. Again, everything I'm showing you, all the jewelry is $15, all of these items for one price of $20. Now this is an item I probably never would have picked up had it not been for the $20 deal, but it does look like this is a vintage piano scarf. Very 70s vibe to me with these colors and that velvet, the floral pattern, the gold. I can just see this definitely being in a 70s home. And it does have a tag on it. You can see the back of it there. The detail and the way this is finished is very nicely done. So I was kind of surprised that it was made in Mexico, because you don't necessarily think of Mexico as being a higher quality item, but the brand says Liverpool, which you would think England, Liverpool, but then it does say made in Mexico. And if you see the back, you know, the back is all completely stitched, you know, folded, a nice hem on it. The way that the trim is done is very nice, very nicely finished. I mean, like I said, I was surprised because it does have such a nice finish and high quality materials used. That kind of surprised me, but it is a nice piece, so that's pretty cool. This is kind of fun. I grabbed this. It didn't take up much room in the bag, but this is a compact, and it says Texas on it. And again, you know, we're in Texas. It does have a lot of wear, so apparently the person who owned this really liked this compact and carried it often. On the map of Texas that you can see there, it has a lot of our major cities. It does say Lone Star State on it, and it has a little push open thing, and on the inside it has a mirror. On the top, this area right here would be where there would be a little powder puff or sponge, and then if you open, push the button and open that, there's actually powder still inside the compact. So that's kind of a neat piece, I thought. Just to think about somebody putting this, maybe she carried it in this bag at one point, I don't know. But that was a neat piece. And of course, Texas, I always love Texas things. All right, let's look at some glass. Now, you don't think about these bags being a good thing for picking up glass pieces, but if you're careful when you load up your bag, there's no reason not to put some glass in it. And the first thing I grabbed was this vanity tray. It's just a pink depression glass vanity tray. It has a nice starburst pattern on the bottom, some neat little handles. Pink is always a very popular color. So I grabbed this and actually set it down in the bottom of the bag to form kind of a base so I could set some other things in on top of it. But I thought that was a really pretty little tray that could be used for a trinket dish, on a vanity, in a bathroom, maybe for keys when you walk in the door. Lots of different things that could be used for. Now, this is a piece of Fenton. You know, Fenton has that distinctive ruffled look around the edge. This is aqua crust because it does have the blue around the edge. It has kind of a neat look to it. Instead of just being a flat ruffled edge, it has a little pinch that extends upward there and downward on what I would consider the front. So it's just a neat little vase. Fenton aqua crust. All right, this piece I was not sure what it was, but through some research I found this probably is missing the reamer that goes in this. This would have been for making fresh squeezed juice, and so what would have happened is there would have been a piece that sat inside of it that would have the reamer on it, and you would juice it and the juice would run down into this portion, and then you could pour it out to make your fresh squeezed lemonade or your orange juice or what have you. But it does have kind of a really neat hand painted item on it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a bird. It is missing a little bit. The paint's not in the best of condition, but I thought that was a neat piece and worth picking up. And the last of my glass is this piece right here. So this piece is EAPG, Early American Pressed Glass or Early American Patterned Glass. And it would be a green opalescent, is what color it would be. And this is attributed to Jefferson Glass Company. And the pattern is called Astro. So this is an Astro pattern. And I thought this was a really interesting pattern because a lot of the EAPG is very floral, lots of nature things, leaves, flowers, that kind of stuff. You also see some hobnail and other things, but this pattern right here, to me it looks a little bit more modern. So it was kind of interesting to me when I was doing my research, and I found out this was probably made around 1910, 19-teens in that pattern. But I thought it was very pretty. And when I picked it up, I thought that it might glow. So when I got home, I tested it with my trusty UV flashlight, and unfortunately, no glow. But I still love it, and I thought it was a really cool piece. So, they had some other green depression glass pieces, and I should have taken my flashlight with me, but I forgot it. So this I picked up off of eBay. You might want to pick one up if you are interested in uranium glass that glows, and keep it with you when you hit your sales. Alright, so now we've got some other pieces that are kind of fun. I did not show this, but this was part of the jewelry 15 bag deal. But these two pieces are VFW, Veterans of 4 and More, pins. And I picked these up. I normally would not have picked these up in a jewelry haul, but I picked these up because I had already picked up these little booklets, which are from the Ladies Auxiliary that are connected to the Veteran of 4 and War. So my plan is to lot these books along with the two pins. So this one is a Veteran of 4 and War's Texas. And this one just has the circle of stars with VFW on it. And then these booklets, it says this one is Booklet of Instructions for the Ladies Auxiliary to the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, dated September 6, 1946, effective January 1st, 1947. And so it looks like this just has instructions on how the chapter of the Ladies Auxiliary was to be run. So, you know, you can see the index, the official name, parade rest, parliamentary law, passwords, postage, quorum. So, anyway, that's kind of interesting. And these little booklets are two different versions of the same thing. It says Ritual, Ladies Auxiliary to the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. And the red one is dated January 1st, 1948. And it is just the... So one of the things that drew me to these VFW items were the dates. You know, they're dated 1946, 1947, 1948, which is immediately post-World War II. And, you know, I would just guess that at that time the VFW would have been fairly active because we had a whole generation of veterans that were returning from foreign theaters and reintegrating into public life, you know, civilian life. They were trying to get back to normal, but being around other people who shared experiences at the VFW halls, I would think would have been very therapeutic for them at that time. So that organization, I think, not only are these really cool because they're VFW, but from the time period of the VFW, I think is pretty significant. So those little booklets are gonna be lauded with the pins as well. All right, let's see what else we've got. I've got a couple of figurines. Oh, let's do the little salt and pepper shaker first. So this is kind of cool. This is a hand-painted salt and pepper shaker. It is made in Japan. You can see right there on the bottom, it has made in Japan. And it has, if you'll notice, it has 2 holes. So the reason it has 2 holes is because this one piece is both a salt and pepper shaker. It is divided straight down the middle inside, and this side is for salt. You can see it has a little S, and this side is for pepper, and it has a little P. And it is hand painted with a nice floral motif. It looks like some nice roses along with that little hand painting on the back. Pink, very popular, and I just thought that was a really fun little salt and pepper shaker. Unfortunately, it doesn't have its original cork, and one of them ended up inside, it appears, so I don't know if I'm going to try to get that out or not, but this is really cool. I thought that was a fun piece. Now the figurines that I got, these little birds, little bougie birds, I thought these were so cute. They're sharing a perch on this little tree. No marks, but I would expect they were probably Japan. Oh wait, actually very faint, very, very, very faint. It is Japan. So when I said probably Japan, I was right. Yay! But anyway, these are just cute little birds. A lot of people keep those as pets, so those are cute. And then there's a set of 3 of these wooden figurines, and these are by an Italian company called Henri, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but A-N-R-I, and they are made of wood. So these are actual wood carved in Italy, and they do all have this little embedded medallion in the bottom with a number. But this little guy is on a little horse. I just love the little looks on their face, the detail, the colors that they used. I thought they were really pretty. But these sell, I didn't look up the boy or this little girl. I loved her because of the chickens. You know, we have chickens, and so she has chickens that she is feeding. And she actually says Sarah Key on the back, which I think is this series. And she also has that medallion and a number. There's a limited series number on the bottom. And look at her little chickens, aren't they cute? I didn't look up either one of these, but this gal pushing her little pram with her teddy bear in it. Isn't she cute? She was listed on eBay for I think around $85. I did not find any sold, I just found one listed, so. But they do tend to be pretty popular, and there are some collectors out there. So if you see these, you might check them out, as long as you can get them at a good price. But again, the whole bag, $20. So these were definitely a good price. And the last thing in the bag, this was, I think, my favorite, was this guy. Isn't he adorable? So this is very, I would say 60s, 70s. I had a little bear that I had when I was a baby, someone gave me, that had a music box in it. But look at that. His head moves with the music box. Now I wish I could tell you what he plays, but with my hearing loss, music boxes are something I don't typically hear very well. Those sounds are higher frequency sounds. So I can tell that there's a music box playing. I hear a ting and a tinkle. But as far as actually being able to hear it and decipher what the song is, I can't tell you. But anyway, I thought he was just really super cute. And he is kind of plushy, but he's stuffed with like a sawdust, so he's pretty stiff. But he's adorable. He might keep playing for a minute. So those were all the things that I picked up for the $20. And then I picked up all the jewelry for $15 at the estate sale. And the reason I went and made the drive was for this item. This is an Enid Collins bag. Enid Collins was a very popular purse designer in the 60s, 70s, and actually her company was called Collins of Texas. And she lived in, her company was in Medina, Texas, which is down south, and they made these purses, which are just amazing. Many of them have this very blingy, kitschy style. One of the things that is fun about them is the titles. Most of them have a title on it. This one is called Carriage Trade, and you can see that the picture is related to the title. And they have these rhinestones. Sometimes the rhinestones are missing, but there are people who sell the Enid Collins replacement stones. So if the bag is otherwise in good condition and it's missing a few rhinestones, you might consider whether the price is good enough to go ahead and pick it up. And it may be worth it for you to buy it and replace the rhinestones. But the prices on these can vary according to how rare the design is, whether it is in good condition. This bag is in fairly good condition. It did have a bit of a stain here that I've worked on a little bit. You can still tell that it's there. It's not quite as bad. A lot of times the leather has been not cared for very well, so the leather may be cracked. So just, you want to check it over and make sure it's in good condition if you are interested in picking up an Enid Collins bag. She also makes purses with the same style, made out of a wooden box. Instead of the canvas bucket bag, she also makes wooden box purses that are very popular. So I'm going to share with you a little tidbit about Enid Collins bags. So Enid, at one point, she sold the company to Tandy. which is of Tandy leather. And if you see right here how it has the EC, those are her initials with a little copyright symbol. So if you see the EC there, that's from the Collins years. That's from when she owned the company. Now, if in the corner of the bag you see where it says Collins of Texas and it has the horse running, that bag is from after the sale to Tandy, so that means it's a later bag. There are still collectors that will purchase the Tandy bags. Some of them prefer the early bags over the later bags. It just depends. I'm not saying don't purchase the later bags because they are still very cool and very collectible, but just sharing a little bit of trivia with you about Enid Collins. But I do love her bags. I do collect them. And this bag originally was listed at $90. So when I went the second weekend and purchased it, I was able to pick it up for $45, which is a price I'm much more comfortable with. $90 was a little bit of a stretch for me on this purse with this quality, but a lot of her bucket bags are just open at the top with two straps. This was a style that I did not have where the leather actually came over the top and closed. So it was one that I really did kind of want because it's a style that I did not have. And so I was really excited to be able to pick that up for $45. And that is my haul. I got a bag, Enid Collins. I got a bag of all the items that I showed you, and I got a bag of jewelry at this estate sale. So I hope you enjoy the haul. I hoped maybe you liked some of the items I shared with you. If you've got any information about anything, especially this black bangle that I don't know anything about, I'd love to hear from you. Comment and let me know what your favorite item was down below. Be sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my videos here at TammyToosVintage. And please hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks. See y'all later.